What's cracking, yo? Welcome back to Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. As promised, I said once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I would release my top 10 players of all time. And while I thought I didn't need to think about it much, as I started putting together these rankings, I found it to be extremely difficult and found myself moving players up and down. I tried my best to be completely unbiased as much as I possibly could and really try to weigh things from as many angles as I possibly could. I started finding myself in debates with players where I would say, well, I think this guy was clearly the better basketball player, but this guy was still a great player, not as good as this guy. But when you look at what he was able to accomplish in his career, this guy had a better career with better accolades. And I didn't want this to turn into a better player versus who had the better career, because I almost felt like I would be copping out of the greatest top 10 players of all time. So I had to try to find as much of a balance between purely what you are individually and the team's success. I always thought the debate for the greatest of all time, or even ranking 10 of the greatest players of all time, is always a very nuanced process. I don't think the answer is ever black and white. I just want to say that players have to get ranked, right? So while there may be a player that's high on the list, and there may be a player that's low on the list, it does not mean that there's a whole bunch of separation between player A and player B. The majority of the players on my top 10 list each have an argument to be the greatest of all time and to occupy that number one space. It really comes down to the details when parsing these players against each other. So as you can see, I'm not doing one video where I just go through all 10 players. I'm going to release a video for each player with their ranking and a explanation as to why I ranked this player where I did. And there's going to be a playlist specifically for that, and you can find the link to that playlist in the description of each of these videos. With that being said, let's get into the player for today. Clocking in at number 2 on my all-time top 10 player list is none other than my favorite player of all time, Kobe Bean Bryant, aka the Black Mamba. As you can see, I got the royal purple strobe lights going on in honor of one of the greatest Lakers to ever do it, Kobe Bean Bryant. So just reviewing where we at so far in my list, let's go over the players that I listed before Kobe. Number 10, Shaq Diesel. Number 9, Tim Duncan. Number 8, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 7, Bill Russell. Number 6, Magic. Number 5, Kareem. Number 4, LeBron James. Number 3, Larry Legend, aka Larry Bird. And number 2, Kobe Bean Bryant. Now, with Kobe Bryant being number 2, I'm sure you all know. If there was any doubt who my number 1 is, I'm pretty sure you know now. It's the only guy that hasn't been listed that is in practically everybody's top 10. All right. So if you remember, if you've been following this series, I said there's one player, like in my top 5 or my higher rankings, there's one player who I believe does not have a GOAT case, while other players may, even though they are ranked below Kobe on my list, and I'll tell you why. That is Kobe Bean Bryant. Kobe Bryant. I do not think Kobe Bryant could ever be the GOAT and have a greatest of all time case solely because of the existence of Michael Jordan. Right? So in my list, it works because I have, obviously, as you all know, I'm just saying, Mike is my number 1. And Kobe's my number 2. But by my logic, Kobe can't be better than Michael. on anybody's. And I'm the biggest Kobe fan in the world. Biggest Kobe fan in the world. But I feel like I'm not a delusional fan. And I try to be as unbiased as possible. But there is nothing I can look at. No metric, no accolade, no overall eye test where I can say Kobe Bryant is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant had a better career than Michael Jordan. So, in anybody else's list, wherever they have Michael, I feel like you can't have Kobe above Michael. You can't. You can't, man. For these reasons, A, Kobe Bryant patterned his game after Mike. And Kobe has always paid homage to Mike. He patterned his game after it. He wanted to be like Mike. Mike was one of his idols. Mike was the greatest player of all time, probably in Kobe Bryant's eyes. I've heard him say it before. So he patterned his game after Michael, and he got very close. At many times you watch him play, and it's almost like Kobe Bryant is Michael Jordan's shadow. Ironically, because he more or less is walking in Michael Jordan's shadow. All right. Now I've been on the record saying I believe, and Michael Jordan fans get mad at me about this. Uh, I believe there were some things Kobe Bryant did better than Michael. Not much. Some things. But by no means is Kobe Bryant a better basketball player than Mike. Mike, people don't like to hear that. I think Kobe Bryant had better footwork. Yes, I do. He played a lot of soccer. He played a lot of street ball. And he was able to learn from Mike and add his own flavor to it and improve on it. There's nothing wrong with that. I've seen both their footwork. I think Kobe's just more impressive. Next, I think Kobe Bryant had better ball handling than Michael. And also, I think Kobe Bryant was better at long range shooting than Mike. Just a better long range shooter. That's it. That's it. Other than that, Kobe Bryant did not do a single thing better than Michael Jordan. That's all. People attack me for that opinion. I'm just like, really? I don't know. Okay. But anyway, you want to break down championships. Mike has more championships. You want to bring up scoring titles. Mike has more scoring titles. You want to bring up defense, even though Kobe Bryant has more all defensive selections total. Kobe Bryant was not a better defensive player than Michael Jordan. Hell no, he wasn't. Kobe Bryant was a beast. He was a Doberman. He was a pit bull. But Mike was an even bigger Doberman and pit bull and more vicious. Okay, big palms. Mike was stronger. Mike had a stronger body, and Kobe was strong, but Mike was really goddamn strong. The big hands, more athleticism, faster, jumped higher. This is just it. The scoring title, like I said, scoring titles. Break it down however you want. Michael Jordan was a better basketball player than Kobe Bryant, and I cannot see an argument. I don't care what argument you bring to the table. I cannot see an argument where Kobe Bryant's better than Michael Jordan. I can't. And he's my favorite player of all time. Kobe's my favorite, man. But I can't. I can't see a legitimate argument because they are so close to each other, like mirror images almost, but one was clearly better. Whereas other players that have a different type of play style, not necessarily mirror images of Jordan, you can make an argument based on their accolades and their skills that they could be the GOAT. But because Michael Jordan exists, Kobe Bryant cannot be the greatest of all time. I spent way too much time on that. Let's get into this. Today, in this day and age, Kobe Bryant is a player that is constantly scrutinized, misrepresented, misspoken about, and diminished in many of the mainstream media sports platforms, your FS1 Sports, your ESPNs, more specifically, your Nick Wrights, your Shannon Sharps, your Malika Andrews. These people speaking publicly to millions, the masses, and they put out misinformation about Kobe Bryant. They clearly have some type of agenda against Kobe Bryant, probably because these people are with the LeBron James narrative and it doesn't fit the LeBron James narrative. So they're putting out skewed statistics, manipulative statistics, conveniently leave off stats, because these are analytic people, stats people, like to not mention statistics that favor Kobe Bryant, use lack of context with him specifically, and speak with so much vitriol and venom. Like you could hear it in their voice. They get so emotional when someone tries to stand up for Kobe Bryant. And unfortunately, on these media platforms, they don't bring on the people. Whenever they do bring on somebody that likes to speak for Kobe, they bring on people that don't have the knowledge base on Kobe Bryant to combat these people and provide rebuttals to all the bullshit that they're spitting out. And the people that they bring on here, all they talk about is Mamba mentality. Oh, he was a killer. Oh, he's Mamba mentality. And I'm just watching this. Like, that's all you got? Kobe Bryant was more than just a killer and a Mamba mentality. I was like, y'all need to get me on the show. I will cream these people, call them out on all their BS. Just to dispel some myths about Kobe Bryant, and I'm not going to go on a long rant about this. You can go inside my Kobe Bryant playlist, and I've already addressed some of these situations in detail with proof to aid my argument. This notion that Kobe Bryant was like extremely inefficient and non-accurate, not true. Okay, Kobe, especially for the majority of his career before he got injured and tore his Achilles, he played in that era of basketball that was extremely slow. There wasn't a lot of three-pointers. Like I say, pace of play was down, and Kobe Bryant played within a triangle offense, which was a slow eat 'em up clock offense for the most part, many given nights. Many given nights. Okay. Kobe Bryant shot an admirable, any given night, 45 to 50% from the field. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. But generally, he was within 45 to 50%. And people like, he was inefficient. He was inefficient. He was inaccurate. He was an error. He was a shot chucker. He was a shot. Okay. So you go and compare Kobe Bryant's stats to his contemporaries, wing players, back in that era, and tell me what they were shooting. I'm not going to go far into this because I have a video, you can watch it. Check out my Kobe Bryant playlist. You compare him to Tracy McGrady, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, Allen Iverson, other wing players not coming to my mind right now, but other wing players, his contemporaries, all-stars. He shot a better field goal percentage than all of those guys, generally speaking, through the bulk of their career, their overlapping careers. He shot a better field goal percentage. Yes, he did. But none of these guys get labeled inefficient, inaccurate. Ray Allen doesn't. Kobe shot a better field goal percentage than Ray Allen. Yes, he did. Go look it up. Year by year. At most, Ray Allen might have had 1 or 2 seasons where he shot better than Kobe. But Kobe shot better than him. Same with Paul Pierce. Same with Tracy McGrady. Kobe Bryant even shot a better field goal percentage than the league average during those years. Go look it up. The only people that were shooting 50% or more from the field goal percentage back then were centers. It was uncommon for wing players to shoot that high of a percentage, especially at a star level, players that are up there getting shots. That was not common. That wasn't a thing. And the occasional power forward might have shot 50%, but it was mostly centers. So are you gonna call the whole league inefficient? The spacing wasn't the same. They were allowed to play defense. The defenses were tougher. The pace of play was down. Lack of spacing. This was the era. So go watch the video if you want to hear me talk more about that. That's it. This other notion that Kobe Bryant was a horrible passer and did not pass, I'm debunking that. Yes, there were games where Kobe Bryant ball hogged. Absolutely, I've seen them. Whether he was hitting or whether he was off, those games existed. Were those games the norm? No, they weren't. All right. For his career as a shooting guard, not a point guard, Kobe Bryant averaged close to 5 assists per game, just under. For his prime, he averaged over 5 assists per game. The end of his career after the injuries and the beginning of his career where he wasn't getting minutes hurt his averages overall. Okay? Let's get that out the way. As a shooting guard, he averaged more than enough assists that was salutable. Okay? Not only that, Kobe ranked second all-time in shooting guards in assists, total assists. And Kobe Bryant played for most of his career in the triangle offense, which is a system in which he doesn't monopolize the ball where he's either shooting or passing, getting assists all the time. No. The triangle offense was a very systematic offense in which any given day, any given player, it basically shared the wealth as far as the passing. And in fact, Phil Jackson used Kobe Bryant more as a detractor or distractor in the triangle offense. And if you actually did, there's no stat for this, but Kobe Bryant will get a lot of hockey assists in the triangle offense rather than the actual assist guy. He played within a system. He did not monopolize the ball. All right, now that I debunked those myths, and while on some level they're true, they're not the whole truth. Okay, so let's be real about this. All right, Kobe Bryant, 6'6", roughly 210, 215 pounds, out of Lower Merion High School, was drafted, actually selected by the Charlotte Hornets and traded for Vlade Divac to the Los Angeles Lakers in 1996, round one with a 13th overall pick. Man, a lot of teams missed out on that. Kobe Bryant played 20 years from 96 to 2016 at the shooting guard position. Now, let's run down Kobe Bryant's accolades real quick. We all know what he brings to the table. One of the more decorated players in NBA history. 5-time NBA champion, 2 times NBA Finals MVP, NBA Most Valuable Player Award once. What a shame. He should have had more than one MVP. 18-time NBA All-Star, 4-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, 11-time All-NBA First Team, 2-time All-NBA Second Team, 2-time All-NBA Third Team, 9-time All-NBA Defensive First Team, 3-time All-NBA Defensive Second Team for a total of 12 defensive selections, 2-time NBA Scoring Champion. He probably should have had more. NBA Slam Dunk Contest champion, All-Rookie Second Team, NBA made the 75th team. I usually don't mention that, but yeah. Also won the, I don't mention that either, never mind. For his totals, Kobe Bryant sits at 33,643 points for an average of 25 points per game. Rebounds, over 7,000 rebounds per game for an average of 5.2. And sitting at over 6,300 assists per game for a total of 4.7 for the bulk of his career. All right, I'm going to try to keep this short, man, because I could go on rambling for Kobe forever. All right, Kobe Bryant got drafted to an already contending team. Right, that was a pretty strong Lakers roster that had just acquired Shaquille O'Neal, and the star shooting guard at the time was Eddie Jones. So in Kobe's rookie season, he only got 15 minutes a game coming off the bench, so there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity for him. He only averaged 7 points per game given the limited minutes, but whenever Kobe got minutes, he was extremely effective. Now we all know the story about the playoffs and the all the air balls he shot against the Utah Jazz. But what really stands out about that whole situation is that as a young 18-year-old, Kobe got selected. So he was 17 years old. His parents had to sign his contract or sign for him or something like that. But anyway, Utah Jazz, the fact that this young kid, despite not getting all the reps that he needed in the regular season, but being thrusted into that situation come playoff time against Utah Jazz, that he had the kahunas, he had the balls to take those shots. And even after airballing one, to still have the confidence and lack of fear to come back and do it again and do it again. Hats off. But that showed you how Kobe Bryant was triggered, how Kobe Bryant was wired already at a young age, where a lot of players who have spent years in the NBA never had that kind of heroic mentality or leadership or lack of fear or lack of back down in them. A lot of people don't have that gene. Yeah, you're not going to hit every game-winning shot. And yeah, he probably should have passed up some of those shots or probably shouldn't have played hero ball. But he did. But that's the same type of shot selection and same type of mentality that put him in situations where he did succeed in similar scenarios. So you take the good with the bad. In the 98-99 season, which would be the lockout season, there were only 50 games. Eddie Jones got traded, and Kobe Bryant then stepped into the starting role as the Lakers' primary shooting guard and backup to Shaquille O'Neal. Let's fast forward to the 99-2000 season, where Kobe Bryant again made improvements as a player. Him and Shaquille O'Neal were really starting to mesh along with the rest of the team. They had some great role players, great supporting cast. Gutted out an amazing comeback victory in the playoffs against the Portland Trail Blazers to get into the NBA Finals. Now, in the 2000 NBA Finals, It was game two. Kobe sustained an ankle injury in which Jalen Rose slid his foot underneath Kobe Bryant purposely. He said he wanted to hurt him but not injure him. Well, you injured him. Kobe Bryant will go on to miss the remainder of that game against the Pacers, game two, and then Kobe Bryant would miss all of game three. Kobe Bryant would come back to game four, gutted the rest of that series out on a really bad ankle sprain. That's the Mamba mentality. And Shaq would foul out in game four, and Kobe Bryant would put on his hero hat and will the Lakers to a victory through the fourth quarter and overtime with clutch basket after clutch basket, clutch play after clutch play to will the Lakers to a victory without Shaquille O'Neal. Many consider this Kobe Bryant's shining moment in which he really started coming into his own as Kobe Bean Bryant. Fast forward, the Lakers win that championship, number one. Let's go on to the 2000-2001 season. I'm not going to go over each and every season, but we'll talk about the three-peat real quick. 2000-2001, Bean really came into his own. Like, this was his coming out year as Kobe Bryant, where the first year it was Shaq number one, Kobe clear number two. This year it was like Shaq 1, Kobe 1A. Like, there wasn't that much separation between the two now. And Kobe was putting up 28 points per game, 6 rebounds, about 5 assists, really dominating the league. And Kobe Bryant wanted to be more of a leader and take on more of a leadership role. Kobe Bryant realized that he had a lot more to give to the game, to give to the organization, and he wanted to step into that leader role and show the world how much his game has improved while also winning championships. He wanted to still win, but wanted to show people that he could do it. Show them what he could provide as the leader of the team, especially as Shaquille O'Neal was coming in out of shape. I'm not going to get into the Kobe and Shaq feud. We know all about that. Kobe was criticizing Shaq's leadership not being, prime time, using company time to rest and deal with his injuries and deal with his conditioning. Shaq's logic was, I got hurt on company time, I heal on company time, and I work on company time. Where Kobe wanted him to be ready to go once training camp started. So they had their clash, long story short. Kobe, it was this season where Kobe Bryant really started getting that ball hog moniker. There were stretches during that season, and I said it, I'm an honest Kobe fan, I keep it real. Was his ball hogging the norm for his career on every single game? No. All right, but especially this season, the 2000-2001 season, there were stretches there where Kobe Bryant definitely was just like not trusting his teammates, and he was definitely chucking up shots. And there were some really bad shooting performances. And I'm actually going to put out a video again, which I think is one of Kobe Bryant's worst games of his career, if not his worst game of his career. But anyway, that season, he was doing some ball hogging for stretches. Absolutely. I could not defend it. I couldn't. And I was watching this game, I was just like, Kobe, what are you doing? Pass the ball. Pass the ball. Yeah, those games existed, especially that season. But despite that 2000-2001 season, which was arguably Shaq and Kobe's most tumultuous season between them, they would go on into the playoffs, figure it all out. The team chemistry was amazing. Phil Jackson is an amazing coach of personalities. The things he does, the unorthodox maneuvers or tactics to get this team together was amazing. But they would go on to sweep everybody throughout the entire playoffs, with the exception of one lost game to the Philadelphia 76ers and Allen Iverson in game one of the NBA Finals. But after that, the Lakers would win 4 straight games to bring home their second straight championship and what would be one of the most dominant playoff runs we've ever seen, if not in a single playoff run, the most dominant single playoff run that we'd ever seen. Now, if you want to argue that, like I said, that first championship, Shaq was clearly 1, Kobe was 2. If you want to say Shaq carried the team or carried Kobe, I still disagree with that. Kobe held his own. All right, whatever. But after that, Shaq never carried Kobe. In fact, up until the finals, you can argue Kobe carried that team all the way up into the finals. You can go back and look at the stats. I actually put out a video about that whole playoff run that you can check out, and I go over all that in detail, how much Kobe lifted, how much Shaq lifted, highlighting Kobe's performances and his numbers and all that stuff. So I'm not getting into that. An amazing run. Come back the next year, the 2001-2002 season. There wasn't that much Shaq and Kobe rift that season, but that would be one of their hardest playoff runs. They had a really tough series against the Sacramento Kings. Not going to get into that. We know the story about the whole scandal and all that stuff. How much that impacted the game, it's up to you. Long story short, they would go on to sweep the New Jersey Nets in the finals. And there is your three-peat. That's the last time we have seen a team three-peat. And it hasn't been done since Shaq and Kobe. And before that, the Chicago Bulls with Jordan and Pitt. Fast forward, long story short, I'll gloss over the next season. We know the Lakers lost to the San Antonio Spurs. Kobe Bryant had a great individual season that year. Fast forward to the next season, 03-04. The sexual assault trial happened, or he got accused of. Oh God, I can't say it on YouTube, right? They'll block my channel. God damn it. Anyway, this Kobe Bryant scandal, and I usually keep it just basketball when I talk about these players. I don't really get into the off-court stuff, but I'm going to just bring this up to add context to that season by Kobe Bryant. Remember, they added an old-ass Karl Malone, an old-ass Gary Payton. Eventually, they would lose to the Detroit Pistons in the finals. All right. Kobe Bryant that year, statistically, wasn't one of his best years just because of all the names they added inside the triangle offense and sharing the ball. So Kobe got, less opportunity to be Kobe than what you would see before and after that season. But I would like to add that the type of vitriol Kobe was dealing with because of the court case, this is to preach about his mentality. You see players these days, and they can't take much of anything from the media. Barely any, not even real criticism. Just like the littlest things, and these players are mentally unstable, and they can't deal with it, and it affects their game, affects their play, things like that. Kobe Bryant was dealing with every arena he would go into, especially Denver. You can only imagine the type of words and things that were being said about Kobe being Bryant. The R word, signs of him behind jail bars, things that were in arenas that they would not let people bring into arenas today because of all the sensitivity. Going to the free throw line saying, "You're a bum bum." I ain't gonna say it because I don't want to get flagged on my channel. But yeah, he was dealing with that and still busting teams' asses, hitting game winner after game winner after game winner. It was incredible, his ability to zone out, use that as fuel, block it out, and go out there and perform while dealing with all his off the court, real issues off the court, real issues. Speaks to his mentality. We all know what happens after that season. Shaq goes to Miami. Shaq ends up winning a championship eventually. And then people call these the Kobe Bryant down years up until they got Pau Gasol. Now, what people never mention is that next year they're like, Kobe Bryant missed the playoffs. Kobe Bryant missed the playoffs his first year without Shaq. What does that tell you? Well, are you just going to leave off the fact that the Lakers were in playoff contention until Kobe Bryant had a season-ending injury in the second half of the season, and he did not return the rest of the season. And after that, the Lakers dropped out of the playoff standings and missed the playoffs. But while he was healthy and playing, they were ready to make a playoff run. People leave that out. But they always bring up other players' injuries that weren't nearly as severe on why they didn't make the playoffs. I'm keeping it 100. The year after that, Phil Jackson returns as the head coach. Kobe Bryant had his best statistic season ever. He averaged 35 points per game, 4.5 assists, and 5.3 rebounds. What makes this average, his 35 point per game average, so ridiculously amazing is that it's arguably the greatest single season scoring season of all time, considering the league average for points back then and the pace of play and the defense and the spacing that was allotted. Kobe Bryant was scoring 35 points per game when most teams were only scoring somewhere in the 90s per game. It's an absolutely ridiculous average, considering the average amount of scoring that was going on in the league, as opposed to today where you got players scoring 33 points per game and the average team is scoring over 110 points per game, things like that. You see the difference. Big difference. Anywho, that season, Kobe Bryant was at one point was actually averaging close to 37, 38 points per game. The beginning of that season, Kobe and Phil had a talk, and Phil told him, I need you to carry most of the offensive load until we get these guys to understand the triangle and how it works. Everybody was new. He had a bad roster. Let's keep it real. Smush Parker, Lamar Odom wasn't all there in the head. He didn't feel comfortable as the second guy. So Lamar Odom hadn't flourished yet until we would see in those championship years as the third option. Who else was on that team? Smush Parker, Brian Cook, Chris Mem. I can't remember if Sasha Vujacic was on the team yet at that time. Anyway, Kwame Brown. But he didn't have a good roster. But he carried them and willed them into the playoffs with his amazing defense and his amazing scoring. There were practically no shooters on that team whatsoever. Not even good, reliable mid-range shooters on that team. Kobe Bryant would have games people were missing open shots that Kobe was dishing, or people like Kwame Brown missing open layups or bobbling the ball and not catching the ball. Shit like that is what Kobe was dealing with. I'm not going to get into the 81-point game. We know about his scoring accolades that season. 81 points, 62 and 3/4, outscoring the entire Dallas Mavericks team by himself. Kobe Bryant had tons of scoring accolades. All right. Fast forward to that, we'll get into the championship years. I'll brush over them. They get Pau Gasol. Actually, before Pau Gasol got acquired, the Lakers were actually doing really good that season before they got Pau. They were one of the top seeds in the Western Conference. Andrew Bynum goes out. They get Pau Gasol. We know the rest. They win 2 straight championships, 3 straight finals appearances. Kobe Bryant wins his 2 finals MVPs, wins his regular season MVP in 2008. And he cemented his 5 championships in that run. Him and Pau Gasol were dynamic together. Kobe made Pau a much better player, tapped into Pau's potential, galvanized his team, and once Pau got into the triangle, everything was set. Pau was the missing piece. And Pau helped Kobe get his MVP, and Pau helped Kobe get his other 2 championships. So it was a good symbiotic relationship that they had. I'll just leave it at that. Not going to go too deep into those seasons. Kobe was phenomenal. Phenomenal playoff runs, all that stuff. All right, let's just get into Kobe Bryant, the player now. And then we can wrap this up because I could spend so much time talking about this. Kobe Bryant was arguably the hardest working player in the history of the league. And I said arguably. This dude's obsession with the game of basketball and putting in hard work, his workout routine, his preparation was arguably second to none. This guy literally dedicated every second, every decision he would make in life that had nothing to do with basketball was somehow connected to basketball, and he took that into consideration and how it would affect his work and his drive. You can Google and YouTube videos and stories of how insanely wired this guy was to work and work and work. Kobe Bryant treated practices like actual basketball games. That's how intense he was. He treated all-star games like actual playoff games. He wanted to compete. He wanted to show that he was the best player he could possibly be. He wanted to annihilate. He wanted to destroy. And more than anything that people never mention about Kobe, Kobe wanted to win over everything else. He wanted to win. When Kobe Bryant was out there performing well and the Lakers were losing, he didn't give a shit about a box score. He didn't give a shit about his stats. He was tearing the locker room up because they lost, and he would not accept defeat. He cared about winning more than anything else. Yeah, did Kobe Bryant score a lot of points? That was a product of how he played. But he wasn't obsessed with getting numbers and points. It was just how he played. I've seen games where Kobe had 50, 55 points, and Phil Jackson asked him if he wanted to go back in the fourth quarter, and Kobe said, no. The game's out of reach. I don't need to go back in. Let me rest up for the next game. My job is done tonight. He's done that plenty of times, but it doesn't get mentioned about. Unlike today, there's a lot of people that care about numbers and stats and checking out. Kobe didn't care about that. He didn't. And he didn't care to monopolize the ball and get all the assists and all the points. He didn't feel like that was a productive way to win long term. And I've heard him talk about this. And I agree with him. I don't think it's the best way to go about winning a championship either. It's very easy to zone in on players like that come playoffs, especially deeper into the playoffs. It's a style of play that's very hard to win by. Kobe Bryant was an amazing scorer. One of the greatest scorers we have ever seen in this league. And like I already debunked the efficiency and accuracy thing, Kobe Bryant dealt with defenses that most other players didn't have to deal with in the history of the league. He was that elite of a scorer, that much of an assassin. You have to imagine the type of defenses he was facing. Take LeBron James, for example. People sag off of LeBron James. You know why? Because he's not a guaranteed everyday shooter. LeBron James' jump shot might be on or might be off. And LeBron James is not a good mid-range jump shooter either. So teams will sag off LeBron, see if he's hitting his shots. If he's not hitting, they're going to keep giving him the shot. But if he is hitting, then they'll brush up on him and then play now it's dangerous because we know he's unstoppable at the rim. They just try to keep LeBron James away from the basket. Kobe Bryant never had that luxury. Kobe Bryant was lethal from all areas of the floor. To a lesser point, the three-point line. But if you give Kobe an open three, he's going to hit it. You know what I mean? You just don't give Kobe an open three-pointer. He's not Steph Curry, but he ain't LeBron James either, despite what the percentages show. Kobe was a shooter. All right? He was on more or less every single game. So you have to brush up on him. The minute Kobe gets to that three-point line, there needs to be a body or two attached to him. I remember there was a playoff series. The 2008-2009 playoffs, the Magic had just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, but they played LeBron James a certain way. The Orlando Magic move on to the finals, meet the Lakers, and I think it was Michael Pietrus was guarding Kobe, and he was guarding Kobe like he did LeBron James, and Kobe lit his ass up. Van Gundy calls a timeout. He's like, "This is Kobe Bryant. This is not LeBron James. You need to have your body on him at all times." Not verbatim, but he more or less said that. Kobe Bryant felt comfortable everywhere on the floor. There was not an area on the floor where you could push Kobe and he was uncomfortable. Yes, Kobe Bryant had his spots that he would like to get to. But if for some reason he could not get to his spots, he still felt very comfortable everywhere else. The dude practiced every shot imaginable that you could think of. And for every countermeasure a defensive had, Kobe Bryant, for every countermeasure a defense had, Kobe Bryant had 20 rebuttals and countermeasure to their countermeasure. You could not push this guy anywhere. He backed down from nobody. He would take any shot because he believed he could make any shot. Kobe Bryant had, like I said, we know how much he tailored his game after Mike. Amazing fadeaway jump shot. And because he got to see Mike play his whole career, Kobe Bryant was already implementing that mid-range fadeaway jump shot early in his career and utilizing it. There's a myth that goes around that Kobe Bryant was only athletic, was only using his athleticism in his early years, and it wasn't until his later years where he started relying or using that fadeaway jumper more. That's not true. In the early 2000s, Kobe Bryant would regularly go to the fadeaway jumper and mid-range jumper. Go look at the video footage. Go watch the games. He wasn't just using his athleticism all the time to get to the rim and dunk on people. He had a steady diet of mid-range jumpers early in his career because he saw Michael utilize it. So he utilized it early. These are just the facts, man. Amazing mid-range shooter, triple team, double team, single coverage, didn't matter. Amazing footwork, pivot, reverse, spin, wrong pivot, left foot, right foot. Kobe Bryant could give it to you anywhere with the mid-range jumper. Right hand, left hand. Kobe Bryant's left hand was just as good as his right hand. I seen Kobe Bryant shoot. He got injured in a game against the Mavericks. He started shooting with his left hand. Dude did a fadeaway three-point shot with defense on him at the buzzer with his left hand. And he shot it with confidence and he knew it was going in. He was a complete assassin. Kobe Bryant is the greatest tough shot maker in the history of the league. Kobe Bryant would take some of the most difficult shots and hit them with somewhat regularity. And these are shots that when people look at, it's like, well, Kobe Bryant took a lot of bad shots, tough shots, bad shots. Yes, he did. But God damn it, he hit his fair share of them. And it is these shots that allowed him to succeed in game time situations where you only have a second or 2 seconds to shoot. And you have no choice but to hit a highly difficult, bad shot because that's all time allows. And it's because Kobe Bryant became so good at doing that that now this is the guy you want with the ball in the hand, with the ball in his hands. It's like, hey, I want the guy that hits all those tough shots, that takes those bad shots and hits them. I need you now on the floor. Do it again on the floor. Do it now. And that allowed Kobe. Certainly, he missed some, and he got criticized for him, as he should. But he hit a lot of them too. Game winners, or just buzzer beaters, or just in general. He would hit them. The dude would just hit shots that would just make you say, how in the hell did that go in? Did you see the defense? How did he fade? How did he break the defense? How did he shoot the ball at that angle? It was just like incredible. The dude's shot making ability was off the charts. You take the good and the bad, but Kobe had no problem dealing with criticism. Kobe always took criticism well, used it as fuel for his fire. Okay. Kobe Bryant was an exceptional slasher and finisher at the rim. Not as good as Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the best finisher at the rim I've ever seen. Kobe Bryant was right there behind him. Left hand, right hand, hang in the air, reverse. Not quite like Mike. Couldn't hang in there quite like Mike, but yeah, I saw it a little bit close to it. But reverse left, reverse right. Kobe would do Mike did this thing, flip the ball up. Kobe started doing that too. Like I said, almost a mirror image of each other. Kobe Bryant's dunk package is arguably the best dunk package, in-game dunk package that I've ever seen. Only second to Vince Carter, if that's the case. Go look at Kobe. Kobe did not jump higher than Michael Jordan. No. Kobe wasn't the highest flyer necessarily compared to other ones. Kobe Bryant didn't necessarily always throw down harder dunks than everybody, but collectively, Kobe Bryant had really good jumping ability. Not the best. Kobe Bryant could throw down strong dunks, and Kobe Bryant could throw down finesse and stylish dunks collectively. Go look at the top 100 Kobe Bryant dunks. The dude has dunked on so many people, big guys, small guys, legends. And in the half court, he could dunk off 2 feet. He wasn't just a one-legged dunker like LeBron James. He could dunk left foot, right foot, off balance, 2 feet, one foot, everything. Left hand, right hand, 360, baseline 180. That became Kobe's patented dunk. Baseline 180, little halfway windmill, cock back, whatever. Reverses, everything. Tomahawks, 360s, off the wrong leg, off the right leg, alley-oops. He did it all. In-game dunk collection, he's definitely top 3. No question. And for me, I think probably 2 after Vince Carter. He just gave you such a variety of finishes. It was crazy. Kobe Bryant was an underrated passer. Did Kobe Bryant ball hog at times? Absolutely, like I said. Did Kobe Bryant knowingly take a shot that he shouldn't have took when he had open players available? He absolutely did that. Was it the absolute norm? No, it wasn't. But it did happen. No question about it. He probably did that more than most people that we love. Did he do things like that more than Michael? Yes. But you take the good with the bad. Sometimes he made those shots. Sometimes he didn't. But yeah, you can go check the video footage. There were times where Kobe did not trust his teammates. But I tell you, certain players Kobe Bryant absolutely trusted. Derek Fisher. 90% of the time, if Fish was open, Fish was always getting the ball. Kobe trusted Fish. Those role players in the Shaq era, he trusted all those guys. The Robert Ory's, the Rick Foxes, Brian Shaw, Ron Harper. He trusted all those guys. It was those middle years Those down years, the Smush Parkers, those guys, he was giving the ball. They were missing, but it got to the point. He was like, shit, I ain't passing these guys the ball that much. But even that 2000-2001 season, like I said, where he had those role players that generally he trusted, he was ball hogging a lot that season. Not going to lie. And that's why I thought it was so strange. I was like, dude, y'all just had success together. I don't understand why you're not trusting these guys. But he believed in himself more than anybody else. And he eventually got better and better with that as his years went on and his seasons waned and his career waned. Nobody got hot like Kobe. When Kobe Bryant got hot, the dude, I don't care, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Steph Curry, name whoever you want. When Kobe Bryant got hot, this was the hottest guy you will ever see touch a basketball. Like the type of shots he would make in isolation, not all shots are created equal. I'm telling you that. All areas of the court he could score. Isolation. Come on, man. 81 points, 62 and 3/4. The dude had a stretch where he had 9 straight 40-plus point games. 9 straight 40-plus point games. 9. He was killing the league that season. Killing them. Leading the Lakers. And then Phil Jackson, I think that was the 01-02 or 02-03 season. I think it was the 02-03 season. Don't quote me on that. I think it was 02-03. 9 straight 40-point games. Kobe was willing the Lakers victory after victory after victory. And then Phil pulled Kobe aside and said, hey, even though we're winning these games and you're playing amazing, we're starting to lose the big fella. We're starting to lose Shaq. I need you to dial it back, pull on the reins, dial it back, and let's get Shaq back in the picture. And Kobe was like, really? He's like, dude, I'm just getting started. Don't tell me to pull it back. But that was Kobe's career for the first 8-9 of his years of his career. He was more or less bottled up. He had all this skill and all this potential that he wanted to show the world. But for the sake of the Shaq and Kobe dynamic and the triangle offense, they constantly bottled Kobe's potential up. So that 35-point outburst in the 05-06 season, you could have seen that many years before. Kobe averaging 30, 35 points year after year after year after year. But it was this season where he was healthy and he was actually able to tap into his full potential and what he could do scoring-wise. Kobe also had a streak in the 2006-2007 season where he had 4 straight games of 50-plus points or more. And 2 of those games were a 60-point game and a 65-point game. When Kobe got hot, he didn't get hot for a game sometimes. He got hot for weeks. I mean, there were months where he averaged over 45 points for an entire calendar month. Stuff like that. Crazy. Stuff of legend. I could go on forever talking about Kobe Bryant's scoring prowess. We all know he was a dynamic scorer. But let's talk about the defense. Kobe Bryant, like I said, 9-time All-NBA Defensive First Team, 3-time Second Team. Kobe Bryant, with 12 NBA defensive selections, was an elite defender and arguably the second best defender as a shooting guard, only second to Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant relished playing competition. Kobe Bryant relished playing the best player on the opposing team. Nowadays, you see these players only guard each other. They're supposed to be matched up with each other, but they don't guard each other till the game is close in the final minutes. Other than that, they're really not guarding anybody of similar talent. Kobe Bryant relished when nobody brought out the best in Kobe, like not LeBron James, Tracy McGrady. Oh, that T-Mac Kobe rivalry at the time was incredible. Incredible. And Kobe loved Kobe. He's like, I won. The only reason Kobe wasn't guarding T-Mac was because of a switch or Phil Jackson pulled him off. But Kobe wanted to guard the best player at all times, shut him down, lock him down, me versus you, mano y mano. Let's do it. Let's see who's better. Let's see who can will each other's team to victory. Locked down, man. He was a pit bull. He was a Doberman. Could block shots, could steal, could play the passing lanes, get all up in your face. I've seen Kobe Bryant on multiple occasions shut down Dwayne Wade, shut down Tracy McGrady, shut down LeBron James, shut down all these other greats, man. He relished the competition. He loved it more than anything, and that's how Kobe was triggered. Wired. I keep saying triggered. That's how Kobe was wired. Extremely smart defensive player. Extremely smart offensive player. Kobe is a brainiac. He sees the games and in angles and mathematics. You just got to hear him talk about the game of basketball, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to start reacting to more Kobe Bryant interviews because they're quite enlightening, to be honest. To be honest with you, there's this narrative going around now in these circles, these mainstream circles, that Kobe Bryant at no point in his career was ever the best player in the league. That's absolutely false. I don't really want to get into this, but anybody that knows basketball, watched basketball during that time, knows damn well that's a false narrative. An absolutely false narrative. And I actually put out a video about this recently. You can go check it out in the Kobe Bryant playlist as well. It might be in my analyst playlist as well, too, where I debunk that whole notion that Kobe Bryant at no point in his career was ever the best player in the league. Kidding me? Cut that noise out, people. I'm not even getting into it because the idea, the notion of that is just stupid. It's just stupid. Was Kobe Bryant the perfect player? No. Then again, I've never seen a perfect player in the history of the league. There are some that are close to perfect, but not absolutely perfect. Did Kobe Bryant have his flaws? Did Kobe Bryant have his growing pains? Did Kobe Bryant have to learn certain aspects of the game where other players figured out early on? Absolutely. But through all of that, through all his learning and his mishappenings, he was still successful throughout his career and still winning championships. That's what makes it even more incredible. Kobe Bryant generally took the road less traveled. You had to be a special kind of coach to coach Kobe. Didn't always have the continuity with the teams like some players had. Still ended up being a five-time champion, two-time NBA Finals MVP, among his other accolades. After he won that championship in 2010, he had a couple strong seasons with some early playoff exits where he eventually, we all know the story, tore his Achilles. He was never the same after that. Year 17, tore his Achilles. And then the last 3 years, he was mangled up, injured, played 6 games one season, played 30-something games the other season, gutted it out with 60-plus games in his last season, but he was never the same. But Kobe had 17 years. Up until year 17, he was still performing at an elite level. All that age, all that mileage. Year 17, he was putting up 27 points per game, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. Or, no, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. And willed that team to his own detriment, destroyed his body, tore his Achilles, but willed that team into the playoffs. We'll probably never see somebody with a career quite like Kobe's, with all the ups and the downs, all the outside noise, all the drama that evolved around him. Some of it due in part to him, some of it not so much. But through all the trials and the turmoil, the guy ended up having one of the most successful NBA careers of all time. And when I see Kobe Bryant, forget the numbers and everything else, his numbers could have been even better than what they were had the circumstances been different. You don't see a player of his caliber usually get drafted to a team that's already a contender and he has to play backseat to one of the most dominant players to ever play the game. But through all that, he still had one of the best careers of all time. And you know what? Another thing I'm tired of hearing. Kobe had Shaq. They diminished Kobe's diminished Kobe's 3 championships because he had Shaq. Because he had Shaq. Well, hold on a second. We don't say that about any of the other greats. And Kobe Bryant carried his own. Okay, but we don't say that about any of the other greats. First of all, let me say, if anybody played with Shaq, I don't care who it was, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, you name them. If they played with Shaq during that span where they were winning those championships and a triangle offense with the most dominant player of his era, everybody is being 1A to Shaq's 1. I don't care who you are. With Phil Jackson in a triangle offense with a center that dominant, there's not a single player that is going to be a clear option number 1 over Shaquille O'Neal. I don't care who you are. Sorry. Next. We don't use that logic for other players like we do. Kobe had Shaq, right? Most people would argue that Kareem is better than Shaq. And a lot of people would argue that Magic Johnson was better than Shaq and Kobe. So how? But we don't say Kareem had Magic or Magic had Kareem when most people would argue that both of those guys are better than Shaq and Kobe, or both of them are at least better than Shaq. But we don't use that logic for them. Make it make sense. Please make it make sense. Please make it make sense. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. I'm just using them as an example, but you can see where I'm coming from. We don't diminish Magic's championships because he had Kareem. And most people would say Kareem is better than Shaq. And vice versa. Come on, make it make sense. Anyway, like I said, I'm done. I think I went on way too long. I tried not to. But the eye test tells me when I Kobe Bryant is the closest thing I've seen to Michael Jordan, and I think Michael Jordan's the GOAT. Kobe's my second. Number two, for me, solidified. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Check out my Kobe Bryant playlist where I debunk a bunch of that stuff I talked about and give you hard facts, proof, and context if you would like. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping in. Tell me what you think about it, and I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.